Good morning. We're into October and we're looking at the Epsom Handicap and the Metropolitan for 2013. Normally it's very difficult a few days out to try and work out what to do. But in this case, I've started with the weather forecast. You can see that we're on 19 degrees on Thursday, predicted 21 for Friday and 27 for Saturday. And the important thing here is to note that it's going to be very light winds. And that's very important when you're racing, because the effect of the wind can create very different conditions for different horses. So we know we're going to have good weather conditions, so let's get out of that screen, go straight to our GTX program, and here we are starting with Randwick Race 7, which is the Epsom Handicap for 2013. And you'll note that it's a very open race with our top rated horse at $8.70. Then $10, $12, $14, $14, $16, $16. So a hell of a lot of chances in this race. The interesting thing is that at the Randwick 1600 metres, we don't use a barrier penalty. Now the reason for this is because it's such a wide open track and every horse is going to get an opportunity, and we're going to have the very best riders on board. There's no rain affected penalties. And you can see here only a couple of the horses which have possibly got a low strike rate that are getting a penalty in the race. Okie doke. So let's have a closer look at Boban. It's drawn barrier 11. And Boban here you can see won its last up by nearly 4 lengths. And before that won by a length and a half. 15 starts for 5 wins. Is becoming a very mature horse under the training of Chris Wallace stable, and Glyn Schofield is aboard, and he has a jockey penalty rated in this program of 0, which means he's one of the very top jockeys. Okay, so we've got to be on Boban, and appropriately is around a $4.80 second favourite at this stage. The next horse we have in here is Malavio, which I can tell you is around the 50 to 1 mark. Last start was 6 beaten, only 5 lengths. Before that, actually managed to win the race and got a very high rating on that day. Now the horse is capable of racing on the pace, and even though he's drawn the barrier 16, he should be able to get a nice card across and get himself into a good position. Now with no wind, you won't have too many horses worried about facing the breeze, even if they're running 3 and 4 wide, as they are going to do in a race of this type. Our third rated horse is Sizzling, and Ken Wood has advised that the horse had a problem with the material in his hoof, and that's been replaced. And this particular horse, which is owned by one of our rating members, has quite a good chance in this race, even though he's rated at $12. You will get around $14. So I'm nominating those horses, and I'm sticking those out as the top 3, numbers 8, 9 and 10. You can't take everything, that's the reality. So numbers 8, 9 and 10, and Boban, because it's a horse that's had so few starts and yet such a good strike rate and the like, and has won at the track, he does qualify for a single selection bet for us. But I'm thinking now of the daily double, which could pay very well. So our 3 horses we're taking in the first leg, 8, 9 and 10. Sizzling, Malavio, Boban. Okay, looking to the second leg, which is the Metropolitan Handicap. My personal favourite is number 2, Moriarty. I've rated it a $1.90 chance, or virtually I've rated it odds on. Now, you can look at its last run, 7th at the turn, 1 running away basically. Lost the plate in running, so even with that slight disadvantage, was still able to get home. Once again, is written by Glyn Schofield. Has a 30% strike rate. This track 2 wins from 5 starts and has won at the distance. Okay, so when you look at his runs, the first up 12 beaten 8 lengths, that was over the 1400. That was just like a start-up run. Second start came back to some sort of form, finished 4th in a very good time and rated 60.9. Coming to a distance, 2,000 metres, and of course you can see that he's also in this class. So when you're looking at class ratings like this, which are exclusive to the GTX program, you can look at this class here. He's only moving up 1 point in class, but that's because the field is obviously a lot better and it's Group 1. Dana's Best. It ran probably one of the best 2400 metre times in Australia, and I'm going back all the way to say might and power before you see a horse running this sort of time for the race or 2400. It wasn't in a great class of race with a -2.5, so stepping right up, and was disappointing last start in the Newcastle Cup. That's a worry, but given the time he ran, I've got to give him another opportunity, so I'll include him in my chances. And Julianus won over 2 lengths at Rosehill, ran a much slower time, but nevertheless, and I was a little bit concerned about the fact that it laid out when it straightened up. The reason for that is that was it tiring, has it had enough run, but it's backing up after 7 days and trained by Gay Waterhouse, who else, is nevertheless going to be a chance. 7 wins from the 24. This distance, 3 starts for 2 wins in a second. Now the 2 runs at Randwick were over the longer distances, 2600 and 3200 metres. Probably couldn't go that far, but this would appear to be about the right distance. So fair enough, we stick Julianus in. Once you get outside those top 3, the ratings really drop off. So therefore I'm going to have those top 3. Going to take the daily double because there's a chance of getting some value here. And a better value than if we back them straight out because the market is so wide. I will back Moriarty straight out, and I will take the daily double. So for the first leg of the daily double, this will be on all the 3 tabs. You'll be on 8, 9 and 10 in the first leg. The second leg, 2, 4 and 14. I do wish you good luck. Race 7 in particular is a really, really tough race, but a nice reward if we do get one of those up. Good luck.